everyone, and welcome to the Outriders preview. I am your host / person who got to play it, Michael Huber, joined by Ben Moore.
What up?
Got to play Outriders.
Huber, I know next to nothing about this game, other than the fact that I like People Can Fly.
Absolutely. People Can Fly, as you know, did Gears of War Judgment, the Painkiller series, and Bulletstorm. Really talented crew. But this is going to be their cross-gen.
Yeah, it just got announced.
Yes,
yeah.
Officially announced as a cross-gen title. PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X.
That next-gen splendor.
Yes, that next-gen magic. So I'm going to briefly just kind of dive into what I saw, what I played. It might be frustrating because there was a lot that they just couldn't tell us. This is a holiday 2020 release, cross-gen. So this is still a little bit of a ways out. I imagine the cycle of news coming out to expand over the coming months. But if you're unfamiliar, it is a co-op loot shooter, I would say.
A loot
I don't
shooter,
want
you
to put
say?
it. Yeah, I don't want to put it in a box, but
Okay.
it reminds me of like Gears of War or Remnant from the Ashes, kind of with a little RPG Destiny flavor in there.
Okay.
So there were 3 classes on display: the Pyromancer, the Trickster, the Devastator. I played as the Pyromancer.
See, I would have guessed Devastator.
Same. But the way the Pyromancer looked, just all the abilities on display, the like fire blast looked really cool.
Okay.
So kind of the main gist of the game, I played primarily single player, and then at the very end, I made sure to go back in co-op.
Okay.
Primarily single player. But the main mechanic here, Ben, healing. Interesting.
Okay.
So to heal, as a Pyromancer, you have to kill enemies that you've marked with your ability. So it kind of there is a lot of strategy here, a lot of tactics of, it's a cover-based shooter primarily, but you're using your abilities. They're on cooldowns. As the Pyromancer, I had an ability where, kind of flame would go through the ground and hit the enemy.
Okay.
And then they would be, they'd have a dot on them. They'd be burned. And then if you kill them, not only do you get the health, but then they explode, doing some AoE damage.
Then if they explode, do they spread that dot to others?
They didn't spread the dot, but
Okay.
they damage a good amount of damage.
Okay.
So if you're, getting a lot of that synergy going.
Do quite a few things spread this burn condition, or is it like very specific abilities that have a long cooldown? Do they have short cooldowns? Are there any cooldowns at all?
Yeah, so there's cooldowns, and then the Pyromancer, it looked like there were roughly like 6, 7, 8 abilities or so, but you could have 3 equipped.
Okay.
And there's the one that kind of dots enemies, and you can heal from that.
Is it similar to like typical MMO action bar abilities? Okay.
Yeah, it's like on the bottom, and you'll see the little,
Gotcha.
it'll gray out, and then you'll see the cooldown coming up. So think MMO for sure. But yeah, there was that. Then there was like an immobilized move where you do the bumpers or whatever, and it would blast out ash, and it would kind of use it for utility to escape. And then the really awesome one was like just reminded me of Doom, the Doom Eternal. Or like the Doom flame enemy.
Archvile?
Yeah.
Is that where somebody raises his hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's this move where you just like flames from the ground.
All right.
Cool. Yeah.
Getting more on board by the second.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole vibe of the game is kind of like a Doom, Mass Effect, Avatar. There's a lot of vibes in here. But the premise of the game is you're colonizing a planet, shit goes down. You have to, this anomaly comes and starts wreaking havoc, and then you actually go back into cryosleep, Ben. It's kind of a cool premise. You go into cryosleep for 3 decades.
Okay.
Come out, planet's all different. You're on this planet Enoch.
Stranger in a strange land.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, then you get the rage vibe because people have kind of taken over this planet. Creatures everywhere.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Quick question going back to the combat briefly.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to understand the pace because you've compared it to Remnant, you've compared it to not Divinity, to Destiny, and to MMOs.
Yeah.
What is the speed of it? Like, is it pretty fast?
It is. It's pretty fast.
Okay.
It reminds me of Gears. I mean, it is heavily influenced by Gears. Obviously, they made Judgment, but it feels like that, right, Ben? You snap into cover, you pop out, you're shooting enemies.
You mentioned like tagging them, is there any sort of combo mechanic where it's like, oh man, I get rewarded for killing a bunch of things quickly?
Yeah, just the health, or just like the AoE. So it's more damage focused combo wise. There was no like.
But since you,
Bulletstorm.
as a pyromancer, are killing a lot of enemies with the explosion, are there pretty big mobs that you're fighting?
Yes, Ben, I'm glad you asked that too, because then depending if you're playing 1, 2, or 3 players, additional enemies coming in. When I did it solo, there were this little mini boss fight. There were like 2 heavies that came. When I did it co-op, there were 4.
Gotcha.
So
Scaled
just
for
more
enemies.
The way world tier is handled is pretty interesting. So it's co-op or solo or duos. You know, they want to give players the options to kind of play how they want to play.
Yeah.
The world tier is interesting. There's world tier 1 all the way up to 15. And when you're playing the game, you can adjust it as you want. I mean, you can go through this entire thing. World tier 1, story mode. See the story. You're good. Or you can get really into it, upgrading the world tiers. To advance to a world tier, Ben, it's really cool. Like, the more kills you get, the world tier will start rising.
Okay.
But if you die, it kind of drops back down.
Do you know what
So
this
the
reminds me
better-
of exactly? Smash Classic mode, because you put it at an intensity,
Yeah.
and then as you beat battles, it'll go up in intensity, and then when you lose, it goes down.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So yeah, the world tier, that goes up to 15. That affects enemy level, drop rates. But the cool thing about it is when you hit a new world tier, say you get to like world tier 12 or something, once you hit that, you now have the ability permanently to use weapons and items that are like 12 levels above your level.
Okay.
So when you're level cap and you're raising that world tier up, you can start equipping just stronger gear.
So tell me about the gear.
Yeah.
Is it just stats? Do these weapons have and armor, presumably?
Yep. Armor,
Have
weapons.
like modifiers, like this one
Didn't
does
get-
some crazy thing.
Didn't get into any of the nitty gritty like that.
Okay.
But I got to use like a shotgun, which is I used like a sidearm shotgun, which wasn't great. But there was a heavy one. I didn't get to use it. Can't
Okay.
comment on it. The machine guns feel good though, chunky, just taking
Love
them
some
down.
chunky machine guns.
There was like a marksman rifle, so just the standard weapon fare there.
You talked about world tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Are they like? Is it level based where you go and you clear an area, culminating in like a boss, or is it more like a connected world?
Yeah, so it is, we were in Rift Town, and it's kind of segmented into instanced places. So when I went to a new quest, it kind of, loaded that environment, and you go in and you,
Gotcha.
Clear the mobs. And I did one side quest that had to do with a shopkeeper, but the demo was mainly about, throwing you in, getting you to the town, and then you got to go on a couple missions from the town, and that was the demo. And then it ended with a boss fight, which was very MMO-like, casting electricity everywhere. The attack cones are coming your way. You gotta
Gotcha.
You gotta keep moving, stay out of those.
Sure.
They're shooting lightning at you. You gotta stay covered. Really intense boss fight. I really liked it. It was
Awesome.
challenging. Yeah.
Big seller there.
Great boss. Yes. And honestly, Ben, that about does it. That's just what I played, a couple missions here, a couple missions there. Co-op was cool. It was pretty chaotic when I finally got to get a buddy in there because they were a different class.
What's the max for multi?
3.
Okay.
3 players. So the questions obviously at the end were like, can you tell us about the end game? Can you tell us about, raids or social spaces?
Right.
And they said, no, we're not talking about that. So
Under wraps.
under wraps. So there is some kind of end game that is planned, but I don't know if it'll be along the lines of, a Destiny type scale of end game, because it is way more focused with telling a story, giving you a lot of RPG mechanics to kind of level up and stuff, but it's really trying to tell a story and trying to let you play how you want to play.
I think my big question is I like People Can Fly, and some of this sounds interesting, but you and I said during the Gundam stream, there's only so much you can grind out, and there are a lot of options right now. Like, I'm pretty happy playing Monster Hunter. PSO2 is coming out. Like, do you think this is doing enough to really command your attention?
Absolutely, Ben.
Cool.
It looks great. I think the main thing I really want to sell here, Ben, is accessibility, ease. Everything about this game felt smooth, intuitive, snappy.
Okay.
And the world tiers and just the control you have over your game. I mean, you say about, you can only grind so much, which is so true, but I like that. I feel like you could get in and out
whenever you want
with this game. If you want to just do the story, you can go through and do that, which seemed pretty cool. Honestly, I couldn't dive too much into it, but the acting and the audio visual is on point.
That almost gives me a Diablo vibe, because that's something I love about Diablo is I feel like I can hop in at any point and have a great time.
Absolutely. So definitely on my radar to watch. I'm pretty psyched. Blah, blah. I'm pretty hyped on it.
Nice.
I was gonna say psyched, stoked, and hyped.
Pretty
That's where that
stoked
was.
on it.
Yeah, pretty stoked on it.
Pretty stoked on it.
Outriders, we're stoked on it. Stay tuned in the coming months for additional coverage, I'm sure.
Awesome.
So,
appreciate the report.
yes.
Yeah, Coop. You still alive?
Not for much longer, it seems.
Then I'll go find him.
Never mind. We've got it covered.